All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. Guys, so the name of the video here is Wealthy Socialist Torched Over Privileged Lifestyle. LULU LENIN. Guys, that is an absolutely crazy tagline, bro, but let's encounter it. Let's see where this takes us, guys.
A New York City socialist is facing backlash after defending her wealthy background on social media and saying it's her duty to use her privilege to support the less fortunate. Now, Grace Ryan is a 25-year-old member of the Democratic Socialists of America who worked for leftist Brad Lander's congressional campaign this summer. She's also the daughter of a millionaire Ohio chocolatier and has a history of flaunting that wealth on social media. Ryan responded to the backlash, writing this, quote, "Everyone's trying to dunk on me for being a progressive from a privileged background. But like, have y'all never heard of noblesse oblige? I have a moral obligation to use my advantages to help those who are struggling."
No, I'm gonna be honest here, guys. The average person is not randomly walking around speaking, for the most part, like obscure French here, bro. Noblesse oblige, basically the noble's obligation, for the most part, or the obligation of the noble, basically saying that if you are wealthy, your obligation by default is to fund everyone else, basically share it. I always find it interesting, specifically when it comes to like the daughters of these like magnates, if that makes any sense here, guys, right? Like they're the daughters or sons of honestly the kids of these super uber wealthy people here. They never worked for what they have gotten. They've lived their entire life in legitimately silver spoon type of environment here. And then the first response is to become what she became. All right. Super uber progressive, pretty much most likely against every single thing that has afforded her the lifestyle that she has had here. But let's continue, guys.
But that just generated even more backlash. And it's just the latest example of a trend of wealthy leftists thinking that they know what's best for the working class. Ryan and her comrades are simply out of touch, says one analyst. He told the New York Post, quote, "It's really easy to have all these crazy thoughts about, well, policing should work this way and ownership should work in this way, and yet you guys have maximum benefits. It's like the Pied Piper leading people to destruction. You are really giving people a disservice to have a safety net, and you can run back to mommy and daddy whenever you decide to give this up."
Valid.
Alicia, quite a pattern that we have seen resonating where people say, sure, you espouse all of these concepts from your seat of privilege and comfort, but it's us that has to pay that price.
And absolutely no experience in any of it. It just sounds so condescending to me. So the Gothamist, this online nonprofit newspaper, I don't know, publication.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a reporter that decided to go to this bookstore. It's an anarchist bookstore. And I've never heard of that before. But this reporter wanted to know what people on, like, way left thought of this co-chair of the DSA here in New York, who, it was found out, is living in his parents' $1.5 million townhouse in, I believe, the Brooklyn area. And she went to talk to them, and the headline of her story was, "At Anarchist Bookstore, news of New York City socialist leader's $1.5 million home met with a shrug." And it was so telling, some of the things that were said. She interviewed someone who said, it's not the end of the world. He explained parental help was all too common among you New Yorkers. But the best line was, if you're not benefiting a little, then you're just not struggling. Well, yeah, that's the point. And it's, again, so condescending because they feel so bad that they grew up so well that now they want to change a system they know nothing about with plans that make no sense to help them.
It's sort of Karl Marxy, in my opinion. Certainly born into privilege and wealth and then squandered it, because his publications about revolution didn't sell so well. But it is such a luxury to be able to have time, since you don't have to work and actually put food on the table, to just espouse ridiculous ideas that have been, I think, come from indoctrinating at college campuses. Like, what happened to the generation of getting into philanthropy and actually learning the business?
Yeah, it's very Marxian, but with a Gen Z twist. I see that in particular, this sense of entitlement from this young woman who clearly has no life experience. It's also ironic that she claims that she has to use her privilege to help people. What are you doing then to actually help people? And also the privilege that she's claiming to have is really wealth, and it's not even hers. It's her mom and dad's. So what are you exactly doing here? But you know what? It's not just Gen Z or socialists who are like this. All Democrats are now like this. I think about Ro Khanna, who's currently out shilling for the billionaire taxing.
Hold on, guys. It's not all Democrats. I would go ahead and say that it's the overwhelming majority that we hear from on a regular basis. It is so here. But we cannot just go ahead and blanket statement gigantic groups of people here. And I am not someone who's an absolute fan of the left at all by any means these days here, guys. Not it here. It's not for me, right? But there are some absolutely Democrat type of individuals that were, let's say, historical Democrats, right, of the 80s and the 90s here that still exist here, but they are definitely being pushed out slowly. And with the new information coming from AOC, at least, calling the previous generation of wokeness, woke one, etc., I think that is probably going to allow some of the older school Democrats, let's just say at least, to kind of come a little bit more to the forefront. But Gen Z, in fact, they're going to hate him.
California, he wants billionaires essentially to take out loans from the government to pay a mandatory 5% tax on their wealth, whether it's liquidated or illiquidated. And yet he is sitting on a fortune around $400 million. His kids make millions of dollars per year. They're all under 10 years old, by the way, but they have stakes in private golf courses in Ohio where they're making millions of dollars from that. And he's claiming that he opposes a system where you can hoard wealth instead of spreading it around. And yet that's exactly what he's doing. So they're all hypocrites on this, unfortunately.
All of them.
Yeah, it's very interesting the way that she responded, acting as if, well, listen, I have this moral obligation, as if there is not any difference between a moral obligation and a government obligation. No one is saying if you don't want to go out and help people that you shouldn't do that, or that's never been done before or never been suggested before. The difference and the branding that socialism has gotten has been very positive for what it is, actually. These people see themselves, and a lot of other people see them as, well, we just want health care. Listen, we just want people to have what they need, as if the rest of us don't also want that. We just don't believe that this is the right way to do it, given the track record it's had all these other times that it's been tried. There is a difference between generosity, which is a good thing, and coercion, which is what socialism is. And I really think that it's had a better branding than what the history is, and particularly in these younger generations. And I think that people who are capitalists, myself included, have to be explaining that, have to do a better job of explaining, listen, we see you, we know it's tough out there. This is how capitalism is the answer. This is how socialism and government involvement is part of the reason certain things are more highly priced than they should be. And this is how this will make it more difficult. But we shouldn't let people so easily spin it into just, oh, well, you never heard of being generous? Oh, listen, I just want people to have health care. Or listen, because it's not about that. It's about whether it works or not, which we know this doesn't.
Right. Guys, I mean, listen, that entire statement right there is incredibly fair here, but you have to understand that we're talking about a group of people who have been raised basically as like nothing more than iPad kids, if that makes any sense here, right? I mean, they're being raised with empathy and emotions first over any type of logic here. So if they themselves have no ability to actually call owning a house tangible, the idea of the American dream that has kept people kind of in check for years and decades within America, like once that became immediately unobtainable, I kind of knew something crazy like this had to happen, right? Because there's always a cause and effect. And then obviously when that cause and effect basically happened here, the next cause of effect is the right's response to the absolute crazy of the left. And it just keeps going on and on and on. It's cyclical. And the only people that generally win here are the media companies covering all of the craziness, guys.
That's why I argue that, the parental responsibility here was, I guess it either landed on deaf ears or it was non-existent, because most children wake up understanding capitalism, understanding how hard their parents work. That's all of our stories. When we talk about our immigrant relatives and what happened, we can trace down the line the hard work and effort it took to get us our education or whatever it is. So I don't understand the disconnect where this young girl, she's $70,000 a year tuition and all of her Tony schools and all of her luxurious lifestyle, that her conclusion from that was, I should give all of this up. My dad didn't work hard for this.
Yeah, she's not giving up anything, first of all. As soon as it touches her, she's all of a sudden going to be to the right of all of us. Yeah. Look, there's an old saying, it's easy to be a holy man on a mountain. All right. She's on the mountain and she's dictating, right? We all know it's nonsense. It's performative. To Kat's point, it is simply branding. There's even branding in her statement, y'all. Y'all? She's from Ohio. All right, please. All right, so this is all nonsense. And the thing that I think really we should focus on, to the parental point, is that why are we surprised? Because I got to go back to the egg here. We had 2-3 years where this generation was locked down and we're taking their dictates from a Marxist meme, Marxist indoctrination on TikTok controlled by China. So now we're surprised. Notice they're not Russian looking. They're Maoists. Hassan Piker shows up dressed like Chairman Mao. None of that's an accident. While they were all locked down, they were fed a steady stream every day on TikTok. That Chinese communism / Maoism is the way to go. Now we're shocked that they're all around cosplaying as CCP members. That's what we're dealing with now. You just can hope, like, what can you do? You got to hope they grow out of it, because they're younger than we are, and they get to vote. And now they put in a Maoist, essentially, as the mayor of the most important city in the West.
Ugh. I'm gonna go hide under the bed. All right. Hey, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I mean, yeah. All right, like, listen, I rail against TikTok on a daily basis here. I have never really said much of anything positive kind of about TikTok here. I have TikTok, but I don't manage it at all. I don't touch it. My management team basically handles everything on TikTok. I literally do not touch TikTok. All right. I stay far away from the platform, but I'm there. And the only reason why I'm there is because so many people have been like stealing my content over the years and posting it on there, basically making money off of my back. If that makes any sense here, that we had to basically create like a hub, a place for me to exist on TikTok, basically. So we can just copyright strike every single person that steals my content. But yeah, guys, listen, TikTok in itself is full of the most reprehensible people you possibly can imagine here. The ideologies that are allowed to basically proliferate on that platform are not things that I would want my kids kind of dabbling within, not seriously, because everything is no longer, hey, this is true. Okay. It doesn't matter. The truth is irrelevant. Like if 50,000 people, all right, all have the same exact opinion on the same exact thing because it makes them feel good here, all right, then all of a sudden it's true, and the truth is now offensive because it hurts people's feelings because it's true, all right? Like the truth is so far, I don't know, separated from their reality these days that it's just like, guys, I hope they get better, okay? I hope they get better. I just don't see how. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't see how. I think there needs to be a lot of truth telling that needs to happen basically for people to be like, you know what, hold on. There may be some future with Gen Z. I think we should skip over them, bro. I think Gen A is probably going to be better, hopefully. But I mean, but these are all like iPad kids, so I don't know if they're going to be better. But we need something. We need a revision, okay? Like we need to work on this here. This is terrible, bro. But all right, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. But in the meantime, guys, I'll go and catch you guys later. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.